Hello, everyone, and welcome to the finals of the StarCityGames.com Indianapolis Open Weekend. Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan here in the booth. Nick Miller is down there in the feature match area doing a write-up of our finals between Chris VanMeter on white-red vehicles and Zach Voss on Grixis Emerge. Fortunately for VanMeter, he's the number 4 overall seed against the number 6 overall seed. So we'll see if he can push over Zach Voss, because this is a very difficult matchup for Chris. I guess one thing in his favor outside of being on the play is that Zach is on 6 cards this game. But VanMeter is going to have to be fast and furious here. And that's not just a vehicle pun, I promise.
But
it is a vehicle pun. Toolcraft Exemplar is just going to attack for 1. No artifact to go along with it. As we're going to head over to Zach. He's going to sacrifice the Evolving Wilds, get a basic swamp, and away we go here in the finals. Quick question. You see Zach's beard?
Yep.
We'll see Chris's beard. Who do we think's doing better? Zach's, that's pretty good.
I'm not a great arbiter of beards.
Well,
for obvious
you
reasons.
can't grow one, I know.
Right. This seems more like your jurisdiction, or at least you're maybe trying to make it your jurisdiction.
Current jurisdiction. Now let's get a good look at Oof. I know Chris takes great care
Well
of this
groomed,
too.
well
Yeah.
maintained, proportionate all the way through.
Yep. He's had it for a long time. Don't know Zach that well, so I'm not sure. I'm leaning a little towards the underdog here in Zach. In the beards, not an underdog in this matchup.
Just less established.
Yeah.
Sort of an analog for the match being played.
Indeed, indeed. Zach is going to sacrifice a Evolving Wilds, get a basic island. You saw Chris play Paula, then attack there with the Toolcraft Exemplar. That brings Voss down to 18. Crypt Breaker out there for Zach as well.
And cards like DePaul and Selfless Spirit, they're really important for VanMeter in this matchup as cards that can mitigate some of Kozilek's return being hard cast. If his draw is all on 2 toughness or less, and Voss just has turn 3 Kozilek's return, that's going to be game a good percentage of the time. So if he can apply pressure while making sure that that card isn't game over, that's a good spot to be in.
A 30 Evolving Wilds, a Smuggler's Copter, and a passing of the turn over to VanMeter. And Voss had 17, not 18. Our apologies there. PNLR, the draw.
Lesson about Smuggler's Copter here. Sometimes the new cards, they are as good as they look. It's not all the time, but it does happen.
It does happen. It's a gooder, that's for sure. Even likes to get its block on sometimes. CVM deep in the tank here. He knows there's no margin for error. He'll attack. Don't think we're going to see him pay for DePaula here. He's got to just get more stuff on the battlefield, I think. Copter will go active. Harness Lightning says no blocks allowed. 5 damage is going to come through. Voss going to fall down to 12. CVM will just have to pass the turn back. Zach is going to sacrifice a 30 Evolving Wilds. Get a basic island. The only thing he's missing now is red mana.
Which you imagine he has access to here if he's Evolving Wilds as he is?
That would be my guess. Quick on tap with the old Crypt Breaker there. We head over to Voss's 4th turn of the game. Smoldering Marshes, proof that he does have more red and black mana. That'll be the land that he plays. You see Kozilek's return in hand. Cathartic Reunion. Goodbye Mountain, goodbye Spire Bluff Canal. Draw 3 cards. Sanctum of Ugin among them. He'll pass the turn back over to VanMeter. VanMeter will untap, and he will take a draw step. Smuggler's Copter for Chris.
Another card that he can play here to advance his board a little bit and use his mana without overextending into Kozilek's return. but also a card that doesn't really help in terms of applying very much pressure. Though It is the first artifact that he'll have for the Toolcraft Exemplar.
Chris looking at PNLR still, Smuggler's Copter, Selfless Spirit, I believe a Fleet Wheel Cruiser too. He's going to go towards the Copter. See if he wants to make any attacks here or not. Looks like he will. 3/2 Toolcraft Exemplar. Actually, I take that back. 4/3, given the artifact. He'll pay 1 to DePaula to put Thraven Inspector on the bottom, given that it's not a dwarf or a vehicle. And this is a pretty healthy attack for 8.
Voss may have to consider a chump block here.
Yeah, it might be that time soon. Emerging is getting difficult, though. That's for sure. All right, Crypt Breaker. Discard a mountain. Make a zombie. Voss at 5. It was an attack for 7 last turn. Sanctum of Ugin in hand. There's Crypt Breaker.
So I guess Voss's plan here is just hope that there's enough attacks on the ground where he can just block, get the creatures remaining to, 2 toughness effectively, and then finish them off with Kozilek's Return.
Yeah, get him with some damage on him.
Yep.
Yeah. Toolcraft Exemplar of the draw. Chris was really hoping for a land for the Fleet Wheel Cruiser there, I think.
Yep. But, VanMeter has to be aware of Kozilek's Return, and I don't think he's going to make any sort of attacks here that expose him unnecessarily, especially when he has the easy out of just working Smuggler's Copter.
Yeah, what's the rush, I guess?
Yeah. And he has an incentive to loot right now anyway because his hand's kind of jammed up and he's looking for land number 4, so he's already kind of going in that direction anyway. And since Voss's plays here so loudly indicate Kozilek's Return, I think VanMeter is likely to play it pretty safe.
There's Selfless Spirit.
A little more insurance on the battlefield here in case of Kozilek's Return.
Always nice.
Also another flyer, which means that if VanMeter is able to connect successfully with Smuggler's Copter this turn, he'll have 2 lethal flyers the following turn.
There's another copy of Toolcraft Exemplar. VanMeter able to dump some threats out here. He'll use that new Toolcraft Exemplar to turn on the Smuggler's Copter. Now, keep in mind, this is a 4/4 because of DePaula. It's important to note. Everybody's coming in. There's some blocking that needs to be done. VanMeter will draw and discard. Declaration in Stone could be very helpful here. VanMeter going to discard another copy of Smuggler's Copter. Voss will discard Insolent Neonate. This is where you see a little bit of the disjointed nature of his deck. It has not come together very well this game.
Well, his deck, like I mentioned earlier, he can kind of attack and block a little bit, but he can't brawl as well as CVM. He needs to get to his top end pretty fast.
So there is the attack, and now here's the block. Crypt Breaker is going to jump in front of the Toolcraft Exemplar, and now a double block here on DePaula. Sacrifice Selfless Spirit. This is going to save everything. Paying life to draw a card, not a good idea. Yep, take 4. DePaula, yep, not a good idea. Zach missed it. Chris VanMeter going to win game number 1 here over Zach Voss. White-red vehicles.
Here's the upshot.
Up a game over Grixis Emerge.
Zach dead for sure.
Definitely not winning that game.
And now knows what DePaula does.
True.
That is what we call a win-win
Yep.
in a game in which he lost via killing himself.
Yes. Win, win, win.
That's a win-win.
Yeah.
So many different wins.
I enjoy people who take mistakes in stride.
It
happens.
It didn't matter in the scheme of things. He was going to lose next turn for sure. He was nowhere near Elder Deep Fin or any other sort of payoff card. Kozilek's Return was irrelevant. He was dead. But, now you know.
Yeah, you just brush it off and say,
On to the next.
2 more games to play. So Chris VanMeter does win game number 1 over Zach Voss. White-red vehicles. Up a game over Grixis Emerge. Now we take a look at the sideboards. We'll start with Zach and his 3 copies of Collective Brutality, 3 Invasive Surgery, 2 Distended Mindbender, 2 Lightning Axe, 2 Liliana, The Last Hope, 2 Summary Dismissal, and a Cozy's Return.
So the additional copy of Kozilek's Return and the 2 Lightning Axes are great here. I think there's an argument for the 3 copies of Collective Brutality. It doesn't kill everything. Maybe a little redundant with Kozilek's Return as well, but probably just still good enough for keeping his head above water early on in the game.
Other side of things here for CVM, 4 Gideon Allies, Zendikar, 4 Galvanic Bombardment, 3 Weaver of Lightning, 2 Fragmentize, 2 Sky Whalers shot.
So when we watched Devin Kepke play this matchup, we did see the Sky Whaler shots come in. I think they're mediocre, but maybe an upgrade over some of the other stuff. The 2 Sky Sovereigns, for example, can very easily be cut. I'm not a big fan of Gideon in the matchup, but that's probably the only other card VanMeter could consider rationalizing here.
Well. Those are the options there for both players. Zach Voss will be on the play with his very unique Grixis Emerge deck. See if he can get a better draw. Keep in mind he was on a mulligan 6 that game. So I think his deck is one that may not mulligan particularly well, but we'll find out as we make our way through this match, hopefully. In the meantime, places you can play Zach's deck and CVM's build of white-red vehicles, whatever wins this tournament. That's regionals in 2 weeks. If you're not qualified for Pro Tour Kaladesh, we got some magic for you to play, and you can learn more about it right now.
Don't miss the StarCityGames.com Season 3 Regional Championships. On October 15th, play Standard at any of the 15 regionals across the U.S. The first 200 players to register for each event will receive a Wings of Glass playmat and token just for signing up. Regional Championships are now part of the SCG Tour with SCG points for all players. Top 8 competitors earn a trophy, a share of $5,000, and a spot in an upcoming SCG Invitational. Visit go.starcitygames.com/regionals to learn more.
Plant your flag October 15th. Find your closest regionals, get some sweet playmats and tokens, have some fun playing some competitive Magic, and also make sure to watch the Pro Tour when you can. Pro Tour Kaladesh taking place that same weekend in Honolulu, Hawaii.
I bet you can't wait.
I'm pretty excited.
You're back.
We'll see.
First Pro Tour in a while.
I'm back as in regards to I'm qualified for the tournament.
You are qualified and are attending.
I am attending and I am attempting.
Which has not been true of Pro Tours for the last few years.
Very true.
It's got to feel good.
I'm ready.
Finally.
Okay, I'll say this. I'm very ready for Constructed. Mm-hmm. However, a large portion of the tournament is also limited.
Yes.
So that's what this week and Grand Prix Atlanta are for. Hosted by
StarCityGames.com.
Yes.
Well, I think it's technically hosted by StarCityGames.com. Is that on the? Is that the TO.com?
.com.
.com.
Hopefully, we'll see a lot of you who are watching this at Grand Prix Atlanta next week. Should be an awesome weekend.
Yes.
The first limited weekend for Kaladesh. I don't know about. I know you didn't go to your pre-release. Too busy being awesome in Denver.
No, I considered it.
But I played pre-release weekend, and that set for Limited is awesome. You want to know a place where the boat is good?
Limited, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably a lot. I'm guessing there's more 3 toughness creatures floating around in your average game of Draft than in your average game of Constructed.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's real tough to beat in Limited.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Our copy editor for our website, John Dale Beatty, he had a Chandra Torch of Defiance Sky Sovereign deck in the pre-release. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Did you square off?
He got mana screwed game 3.
Yep.
Thank goodness. Because when I played against the Sky Sovereign for a game, come on with that thing. Are you kidding me? Chandra's not particularly beatable either in Limited. It's pretty tough.
And they play pretty well together because Chandra gets your one big thing.
Yeah.
And then the
Sky Sovereign takes care of the rest. Yeah.
Plays clean up.
Yeah, it was tough. But it's a really sweet Limited format actually. It goes live on Magic Online on Wednesday, I believe.
I'll be in the sealed leagues.
In which I will be sick for work that day. So the boss knows.
Been hanging around me all weekend. You might be sick for reals.
Thanks. Thanks so much. I Might be a little under the weather Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. These players are going to take a look at their opening hands. It'll be Zach Voss on the play. See what the old Grixis Emerge deck can put together here. Remember, he stomped all over Devin Kepke as he is shaking his head and taking a mulligan.
Well, his draw didn't really go anywhere in game number 1, and CVM had both a draw and a line of play that allowed him to ignore Kozilek's return, which is something that Kepke was not as fortunate about in the quarterfinal match against Voss.
Looks like CVM going to keep his opening hand. Remember, this build of white-red vehicles, it's not that aggressive. Obviously, it's an aggressive deck.
It has 3/1s for 2. I mean, it is relatively aggressive.
Yeah, but it's not that aggressive. So we've seen much more aggressive takes on white-red this weekend. I will say that. But as you've stated a couple times this weekend, being a little bit bigger has been beneficial for some people.
Yeah, beatdown mirror matches are often about a little bit bigger, a little bit slower.
The scry here for Zach is going to go. Looks like he's not sure. He doesn't look happy. I'll tell you that much. To the bottom. All right, he will start things off with Evolving Wilds. Over to Chris VanMeter we go. Does he have a 1-drop? Looks like he has a Needle Spires to start. He does. He'll play the creature land, pass the turn back over to Voss, who will sacrifice an Evolving Wild, search up a mountain, shuffle, present, and then head to turn number 2. What do you think, a quick pile shuffle here?
Well, I mean, it's permissible according to several people who have messaged me on Twitter. It's not, but people think it is.
An island. We'll go back to CVM. Inspiring Vantage the draw here for Chris. He'll play that. No plays to start. A little surprising there. No 1 or 2, but no third land drop here for Zach Voss. VanMeter with another Inspiring Vantage. There is DePaula. Pass that turn back over to Voss. Voss will draw. He's found a Scrap Heap Scrounger, I believe. He'll play the Scrounger, pass that turn back. One thing about the Scrounger, however, is that it cannot block, so VanMeter is clear for takeoff as he draws a Galvanic Bombardment. Elusive coming from the sideboard, it does appear.
Another draw so far that is Kozilek's return proof.
There's a Plains. And here's a Weaver of Lightning. Finish that off, and now here we go. And guess what? That one doesn't die to K return either.
Yes, and it's also something that can contain the spirits from Haunted Dead.
Very true.
A little odd to see that one in, but I feel VanMeter probably has a lot of inefficient cards in his deck and things he probably wants to cut because of Kozilek's return. Something like Pia Nalar maybe just doesn't match up well.
Yeah.
Just wants to go to some more durable threats.
VanMeter will draw. Picked up a mountain. He could go over to Needle Spires, and he is very, very quickly. Here he comes. Kozilek's return will take care of Needle Spires. It will not take care of anything else, however. 4 damage will come across. I do kind of like Chris saying you kind of have to have this right now.
My instinct there, I mean, the well's a little poisoned, can see his hand. I'm not sure if he's just supposed to dump all of his mana into DePaula on that spot because the game's going slowly, and there's just a very good chance Kozilek's returns in Voss's hand.
There's another Needle Spires. Chris will attack. Will he pay for DePaula? The answer is yes for 3. Going to leave a little mana up for Galvanic Bombardment. Top 3 cards. He'll get a DePaula. The shot and the land will go to the bottom. He will randomize those. Now they'll go to the bottom. There we go. DePaula Pilot Exemplar looking good here. There's a 3-man Inspector Clue along with it. We head back over to Zach Voss. He'll draw a card now. Here is Cathartic Reunion. Discard 2 Haunted Deads. Draw 3 cards. It gives him a shot to get back into this thing if he can find some lands. Evolving Wilds is a little slow to the party.
You should have been more specific.
Yes, I should have. VanMeter will draw. And I think if he goes towards that Needle Spires, he activates this, he comes across into the red zone. That's 2, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that is going to do it. Chris VanMeter going to win this match over Zach Voss, 2-0. White Red Vehicles will take care of Grixis Emerge, and for CVM, our coverage partner, it's SCG Tour Open win number 5. Congratulations.
Good to have you back, buddy.